Are you a procrastinator? It's okay to procrastinate is to be human. Researchers estimate that 25% of people are chronic procrastinators, and 88% of workers procrastinate for at least 60 minutes of each working day. But procrastination doesn't just affect your productivity. It doesn't turn it into a major time suck and cause missed deadlines. There's a hidden cost to procrastination as well. Just because you've put off doing something, it doesn't mean you're not thinking about it. Thinking about it requires energy and can result in that background hum of stress, anxiety and agitation that you just can't quite put your finger on. Today I'll be sharing the most common reasons for procrastination and sharing some easy to implement tactics and strategies to help you move beyond that procrastination. You'll also discover that there are times when procrastination can be your saving grace. Let's get started, shall we?
Well, hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Project Joyful podcast. I'm your host, Tracy Tutty, your medical herbalist and high performance coach. So, hey, Project Joyful isn't just about being happy. It's about consciously creating a life you love. It's about remembering how to reconnect with your soul-centered joy. You know, that joy that comes from doing what you love, from living on purpose, and from being in a life that allows you to experience deep joy moment by moment. So hey, let's get started, shall we?
If you're human, you've procrastinated on something. Procrastination is defined as putting off something we intend to do. It doesn't just affect your productivity or mess up your ability to manage your time or result in missed deadlines. There's a hidden cost of procrastination as well. It shows up as stress, anxiety and agitation. Just because you've put off doing something, it doesn't mean you're not still obsessing over it and worrying about it in the background. Not only does it affect your mental health and show up in your mood, it takes energy to worry about things. If your reason for procrastinating is because you don't have the energy to do the thing, well then that's a double whammy. Procrastination is so prevalent that researchers have a bunch of theories to explain why we procrastinate. The challenge with these theories is the human component. One theory may be relevant for one person, but not for another. Now, you know I like to keep things practical. So I'm going to share a smorgasbord of options for our procrastination flavor and some practical tips on how to move through your procrastination based on conversations I've had with clients who've dealt with this. So let's start with the elephant in the room. Sometimes we procrastinate because we simply don't have the energy necessary to start the thing or maintain the thing. And this can show up in a couple of ways. Either you're putting it off, moving that task to tomorrow, and then tomorrow, and then tomorrow, or you don't plan to do the thing until the very last minute. I see you, my gorgeous pull-in all-nighter people. Why do we do that? It's because we've become used to living in survival. Nothing has meaning unless we're up against it, living on adrenaline and fueling that adrenaline with caffeine. We've been living with high levels of stress for so long that we think that's normal. As a result, we're not able to function in a low-level hum of ease and flow. We need the buzz, we need the rush, the excitement to feel alive. So if this is you, what does it mean for your procrastination? Well, first of all, your procrastination is serving a purpose. Your mind is saying we need to fill the gas tank before we can commit to the journey, and that's really helpful. The dysregulation comes in when we choose to not fill the gas tank, put off going on the journey until 5 minutes before we're meant to reach the destination. Then it's foot down, needle on empty, push through. What's the solution? Start by creating space in your day, in your week, and in your month for active recovery. Step away from the caffeine. Bring in high nutrient, clean foods with lots of fibre. Drink plenty of fluids and give your body what it needs to recover. Things that relax you. No matter how uncomfortable relaxing feels, and it will, it's not lazy, it's necessary. So move those deadlines out. Delegate the tasks necessary to achieve them, or negotiate the deliverable. You need time to recover before you fall over. Another reason we procrastinate is because we've said yes to something that really wasn't meant for us. We committed to something, but it wasn't a full body yes. I'll do it, or I want that. These are often the commitments you say yes to because pleasing people matters. You don't want to let somebody down. You're superhuman and you need to be in control for everything to be okay. The procrastination stems from that deep inner knowing that this thing isn't really the best use of your time. Often it's somebody else's goal rather than your own. So if your body is giving you the nudge right now, take a look at your calendar. What do you have in there that feels good in your body? What feels like a full-scale hell no? For those hell no events, have the brave conversation with yourself and with whoever is impacted by you choosing a new path. Can you remove yourself from them? If not, what can you do to safeguard your time going forward? Fill your calendar with events and appointments that feel like a full body yes. Spend some time reflecting, either journaling or talking with a coach, so that you can get really clear on what matters to you, on how you want to feel, and the experiences you're willing to curate so that you can look back and know that you lived your best life. That's part of what we do in the Revitalize coaching program. Some procrastinators procrastinate because they're intimidated by the sheer vastness of the thing. If this is you, break your thing down to smaller, more manageable things and do one thing each day. Create routines that will help you get the one small thing done. Make it easy to start that routine by attaching it to a habit that you already do without even thinking about it. So for example, if you're putting off getting down to that gym class, stack it. When the alarm goes off in the morning, get out of bed, don't hit the snooze button, and put your gym gear on. You don't have to go to the gym. That's next week's routine. For now, get into the habit of putting your gym gear on first thing in the morning. Next week, stack going to the gym onto the back of putting your gym gear on. You don't need to do the class, just turn up at the gym, although you'll probably want to once you're there. Sometimes we procrastinate because the idea of doing the thing or the imagined consequences of doing the thing is scary. Now this is natural, and again, it's part of being human. Our mind has one job, and that's to keep us safe. Doing something new or different can be a scary and confronting thing. It's because it goes against everything we're hardwired for. It's the very opposite of what our mind perceives as safe. Safety comes from predictability and everything that's familiar. We feel safe when we can predict the outcome with certainty. And yet the paradox is that craving variability is the very essence of being human. We change something up and move from the familiar to the unfamiliar. The alarm bells go off. Our mind starts feeding us thoughts designed to get us to move from the unfamiliar back to the familiar. The longer we stay in the unfamiliar, the louder and more urgent the thoughts. You don't need to do that today. Do it tomorrow instead. I'm not feeling like it today. Tomorrow I'll be more creative and really hit it out of the park. Not sure I'm looking camera ready right now. Sound familiar? Those thoughts keep coming until one day we've been in unfamiliar territory long enough for it to feel familiar. Our mind decides that we're not actually going to die, and we find ourselves in a new zone of familiarity. We don't need to procrastinate and put off doing that live anymore. We've done it enough times before for our mind to understand that actually doing a live won't kill you. So how do we resolve this? Change will always feel scary. There will always be fear. It's biological. But we can shortcut the, oh, I didn't die when I did that response by making it feel safe in our body first. In the words of Victoria Washington, body leads, then the mind follows. Our mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So use this to your benefit with mental rehearsal. See yourself doing the thing. Feel how amazing it is when you do the thing. Hear yourself doing the thing. Do it enough times with enough emotion and your mind thinks, oh, I've done this before. We're all good. Why does it do that? Because you created safety in your body and your body signaled that to your mind. No need for the alarm bells to go off. There are so many somatic practices that you can use for creating safety in your body. There's a whole session dedicated to it in the Revitalize coaching program, but here are a few to get you started. So we talked about mental rehearsal. The key here is to feel it deep in your bones. There's also breath work, such as alternate nostril breathing or the box breath. There's movement, standing barefoot in the grass. If you're procrastinating, begin by creating safety in your body. It always helps. Then start to apply the frameworks. Ask yourself, am I procrastinating because I'm worn out? If you are, begin with the energy building suggestions at the start of this episode. Am I procrastinating because this isn't my dream, or I'm not feeling a full body yes when I think about doing this thing? Get clear on your goals, the experiences you want to create, and build more of that into your day. Find ways to clear out or delegate the rest. Want some ideas? Book a free 30-minute productivity strategy session with me. The link's in the show notes, or head over to my Instagram page and pick up the link in the bio. Lastly, am I procrastinating because, well, it feels too big, and that bigness brings me to overwhelm? Break it down into bite-sized pieces. Do one thing every day and find ways to stack that one thing onto things you already do out of habit. Am I procrastinating because I'm scared? Take a pause, hand on your heart, and breathe. Slowly, lovingly, deeply into your body. Thank you, belly, for receiving my breath. Keep breathing until you feel peaceful. Get going on that mental rehearsal. Build in some other somatic practices to make it safe. Procrastination isn't that big thing that needs to be beaten down through willpower, discipline, or force. Procrastination serves a purpose, and it serves you. Procrastination leaves clues. Follow those clues to create an environment more attuned to you. Sending you lots of love. Bye for now.
Hey, thanks for listening to today's podcast. Can I ask you a favour? If our conversation spoke to you today, could you please take a moment to leave a 5-star review? Your review will help people discover this podcast, and together we can create a world where there's even more love and more laughter. And if you want to hear more from the Project Joyful podcast, just click the subscribe button. Bye for now.